let's get into episode 3, because I'm your... Woo! Let's get into it. You know what, Vanjie? You did not have to read Mercedes like this. Since you gotta pick a struggle. Leave her alone, Vanjie. Mini challenge. Sweet talk your way into a club. I didn't get this. Like, I get that this is a part of the scene. Is it still current within, like, the drag scene that you gotta, like, sweet talk your way into clubs? Or is this, like, also current within the LGBT community, like at gay bars and gay clubs? Is this still a thing? Because I'm gonna be very honest with you, even when I was a teen, I was always a lounge chick. I was never a club chick. I love me a nice little lounge, okay? I was always the old little foe, but a young tight face, get into it. Anyway, is this like still a thing? I thought that you could just like text the party promoter and get in. Anyway, I didn't really resonate with this because I didn't get it. I didn't feel like it was, I don't know, I didn't want to watch it. I didn't think that it was important enough to like be a mini challenge. But you have to like sweet talk your way to get into the club. And I didn't think anybody did a good job except for Silky. Here is why. Because Silky almost took down the whole damn set. And she made Ru laugh. Silky always makes Ru not just laugh, but Ru like yelps, okay? Just being in the presence of Silky. And that's a good thing. That is a good sign, guys. Whatever Silky is around Ru is just beaming. And I'm like, Silky, you about to blow up, girl. You about to blow up, okay? Ru was looking at her and she sees dollar signs. Silky, get ready. Get ready. So she was the only one who I thought did a good job, because she was like, I'm gonna just bust this door down. And then she busted. She was like, I told you I'd get in here, girl. But Raja also wins, and I didn't think that Raja was funny, but she wins. So Silky and Raja now are team leaders for the Maxi Challenge. And this one was the make or break one. My God, like, you would have thought that these queens would have known like multiple divas. I would have actually thought that this would have been a hard challenge for them to like pick one diva to worship. The fact that they were struggling to find divas. First of all, the Maxi Challenge is a Diva Worship where basically it's like a, you know, them 3 a.m. televangelist shows that you got to call in or whatever. And it shows like deliverance and all kinds of stuff. It's making fun of essentially any show that's on TBN. Christians, you get it. You know what I'm talking about. So anyway, you have to pick a diva to put into the place of God to worship. And Raja's team decides to, first of all, they were struggling to find a diva. They were struggling to find a diva. And then they were just like, oh, we can't do Whitney Houston because, you know, it's going to go dark with Whitney. And I'm just like, it doesn't... This is a thing about people who do Whitney Houston impersonations who only do that dark time of her life. You don't know Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston has been shady my entire childhood. I don't know where people get her being this sweetheart. There are so many memes. There are so many throwback interviews of her cussing out a reporter, rolling her eyes, singing her shady way in an interview. Like, there are so many Whitney Houston moments that is just not her being sweet, nippy, and singing that you could pull from. The fact that your mind only goes to crack Whitney means that you don't really know anything about her and you're not really a fan. So when they were like, oh, we can't do Whitney because it'll get dark, I was like, I'm fine with you not doing her because obviously you don't know anything about Whitney Houston. So they all decide to then lean on to Mariah Carey. But they don't know a damn thing about her. How in the hell? First of all, I was just like, how old are these queens? Because I know that a lot of these queens are early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, 40s, sugar cane. You don't know Mariah Carey, y'all the same damn age. Like, what is going on? How do you not know anything about Mariah Carey? They did not even know what she calls her fans. So when Ru came around and asked them who they picked, they said Mariah Carey because they all knew enough about her. And Ru was like, okay, well, what does she call her fans? They were like, the Careys, butterflies. What? I was like, oh, this is the losing team. Ru was shook. Ru was looking at them like, are you kidding? Why would you? This is the thing, right? Rue always gives great advice in these workroom meetings. And the queens who don't take her advice always ends up lip syncing. Because she was just essentially telling them, you don't know anything about Mariah Carey. Pick somebody that you know something about. And they were like, oh no, we're going to stay. We're going to stay, Raja. We're going to stay with this. We know enough about her. No, y'all don't. The fact that your mind thought that Mariah Carey calls her fans Carey's butterflies. What? And then, guys, did you see Raja? They were talking about Mariah Carey's emotions. And Raja goes, I get so emotional, baby. And they were like, yes, that one. I was like, oh my gosh, how are y'all so clueless? I was so disgusted and disappointed. Like, nobody clocked that she was singing Whitney Houston. Like, nobody clocked that. And they were like, oh yeah, that Mariah Carey song. I'm like, that is not Mariah Carey. So already, I knew who was going to be the bottom team, but I know what's going to happen at the end, but we will get there. Oh, and also, I apologize for saying that Silky was the team winner for that. Silky was my winner for the mini challenge, because I thought that moment was so funny. The winner was actually Nina West and Raja O'Hara. I didn't think that Nina's character was funny. I would have gave it to Silky. But anyway, it's actually Nina West and Raja O'Hara who are team leaders. So Nina's team is up first, and they picked Britney Spears, and they had a great script. And I think this team was able to pull this out because they had someone who is a performer who is also a leader of this team. And Nina West, you can tell that she writes scripts. You can tell that she wrote a lot of the jokes. You can tell that she puts together shows. You can tell that because the script was so good. The characters were so strong. Vanjie and this deliverance that she was doing with the hair whip, it was all so good. Nina West was a great host. Like, she really, really killed it. And I was not shocked, but I was thoroughly impressed. Really, really impressed with this team. Because you know I'm strong on them acting challenges. I don't play. Don't play with my craft. Don't come in and think it's easy, baby, because it's not. But I was impressed with what they were able to give. I laughed this whole time watching them. Like, this was a really funny sketch. Oh, Brooklyn, my top queen. She just could not hold her own next to Nina. Thank God she was on a winning team, because I was like, oh girl, if you was on that other team, you would have been in trouble. You would have been in trouble. Because she was like, she just couldn't keep up with Nina. And you could see her like fading into the back while Nina's character was so huge and so on point. And I instantly knew, just watching her mannerisms, watching just everything that she was doing, I was just like, oh, Nina, you're from this. You know exactly what this is. Church kids know. We can put that character on with the quickness because we know it. Nina did too much of a flawless job for me not to believe that this is something that she grew up in. Vanjie, ooh, thank you, Vanjie. Ooh, I thank myself. She's just naturally funny. Naturally funny. Can we talk about, so I'm looking at my notes from this episode. One of my notes were with Raja O'Hara's team. I was just like, one of my notes says, this is the first line of my notes. It went from worse to worse. And then the second line of my notes for Raja O'Hara's team, without even watching the episode, without even going on Twitter to see what was going to happen with this episode, my second line of my notes was, oh, they are all going to lip sync for their lives. Consider me shocked when we got to the end. Anyway, Raja O'Hara team, they go, and it's terrible. They don't know the script. Plastique, in my opinion, was the best person on this team. Plastique was, although her choices didn't hit, she was making choices. She was doing something. The rest of her team was just confused and all over the place. None of it worked together. It was so disappointing. You know, they knew nothing about Mariah Carey, because if you knew enough about Mariah Carey, you would never bring in Ariana Grande. She is like a speck on the Mariah Carey timeline. And Acaria Davenport with the rubbing the air ring, like, nobody got that. Nobody knew what was going on until she said it on the runway. And it was just like, what is happening here? It was horrible. They didn't know the words to their songs. Honey Davenport and Raja O'Hara both were like, oh, we can sing. We grew up in the church. We know how to do. So I was at least thinking that they were going to kill it. First of all, I was like, y'all said y'all could sing. Like, this was a struggle. This was a struggle. They were all over the place. They were looking at each other. They were confused. And I'm just like, there's no excuse, because you guys had the same amount of time as Nina West's team. And this is what you pulled out. Horrible. Horrible. Like, absolutely horrible. How do you not know your freaking lines that you wrote? What? So my initial thought before I found out in the next episode why Mercedes was very quiet about her religion was because I thought that she was having a hard time opening up about being Muslim and a drag queen. That's what I thought it was about initially when I watched this episode. We later find out in episode 4 that it was something else. But that's what I thought. I was just like, guys, you know, because they started talking about religion in the workroom, and the queens, in my opinion, were very ignorant to Islam. I don't know. I guess because my family is half Muslim, half Christian. No, we don't have any Jewish people in my family. We don't have, no, yeah, Christian and Muslim. Christian and like we celebrate everything, okay? You know what I mean? Like, my cousins come over for Christmas garbed up. They get their gifts, then we go and do their celebrations. And my cousin who passed, he's Muslim. Because my family is so mixed, he had like a mixed ceremony. So part of his funeral was held in a Christian church. You know, and then the other half, his burial, we buried him in the way of Islam, facing the sun, I believe. No casket, put his body in the ground. Like, it was an emotional day, but it was a beautiful melding of like religion and culture. And it was, yeah, just thinking about it, I was just like, I can't believe like my family was able to do all that. We were so emotional, but it was just, we sent him off in such a beautiful way. But anyway, I guess because my family is mixed like that, I get it. I felt like the questions that they were asking her were so preschool, like so childish and just ignorant. And I'm like, how are you guys adults and you don't know anything about Islam? Like, do you pray in a mausoleum? Carrie, how do you not know the difference between a mosque and a mausoleum? Like, it was just so sad. So anyway, they're trying to talk about Islam to Mercedes, and Mercedes quietly walks away and shuts the conversation down. And again, I thought it was because she did not want to bring up Islam on this show where she's doing drag. We later find out it's something else, but it was important to have this moment because it's a part of our story arc. So we're going to find out a bit more in the next episode. And that's why we got just a little bit of Mercedes' story on this episode. Now let's get to the runway. Runway. Rue's look. Very Vegas cabaret. And that is no shade because I loved it. I loved everything. Hair, makeup, dress, everything. I was here for the gaudy. However, the only thing I could chop is that color. I didn't like the color. I did not like the color of the dress, not of Rue or the hair. The dress, it was just like, oh, why this color? So this runway's theme is fringe. And honey Davenport, I got what your outfit meant. I love that. I love that. I love that you have, like the Vixen. That's what her name is, the Vixen. I love that all of your drag has a message. I still didn't like this outfit. You know what I mean? And I was like, am I going to really tell my true opinion about this outfit? I have to. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I like the silhouette of it. I did not necessarily like the material. I think the material under these lights and on the HD camera just read for me very cheap. And I could not get into it at all. The makeup was cute though. You did good with that. The everything else, I was like, Scarlet Envy. I like this look, right? I really, really did like this look on her. My only issue is that I don't want to see this anymore. She keeps on giving burlesque, very, no shade, poor man's Violet Chachki. And the only issue that I'm having with this look is that we've seen it done better. That's the thing. If you're going to continue to give us a situation in burlesque, then you got to do it better than Violet Chachki. And I don't know if anybody can. Sugarcane. I love that this outfit was an ode to her native heritage. I hated it. It was just poorly done. That sad, lazy bun in the top, the makeup, the outfit, everything just looked rushed, very arts and craft. It looked like this whole look was put together while she was riding a roller coaster. I didn't like it. Great idea, poor execution. I felt like if the hair was cleaner, the makeup was cleaner, the outfit was cleaner, we would all love it. I was not a fan. Oh, and Alexis Michelle, shaking in her boots, shaking. Plastique, gorgeous, pretty queen in opaque tights. Again. Kyria, I love this headpiece, but I started to feel like it was a little offensive. Is this like from, I felt like I saw this on like Miss Philippines, yeah. I felt like I was just like, girl, I love this. Is this offensive? I hope not, because I loved it. Roger O'Hara, it was cute. Nina West, again, Caucasian Wendy Williams, right? But this is the thing, Nina needs to sell it. I don't know if she's yet confident in this character. I know this is her shtick, right? It's just the mousy runway doesn't do it for me. I always want a confident runway walk. That is just my preference. And maybe this is Nina West's character, but they're just very mousy and flighty, and I can't really walk down a runway. It doesn't do it for me. Brooklyn looks cute. I do feel like she's skating the challenge with this look, but she looks so beautiful. It's just like, oh, go ahead, girl. Don't tell nobody. Vanjie, I like the look. I felt like the makeup was a little off. Like something was wrong with the coloring of her face to her neck. And I think it's maybe because she's using a different makeup to cover her tattoos. I think she's using Dermablend and then like regular face makeup for everything else. Something was just off in the coloring for me. Evie Oddly, I like the look, but just like with Sugarcane, love the concept, poor execution. Mercedes, I like the look. I got a problem with another bodysuit. I feel like this season is going to have a bodysuit spirit and Michelle Visage is going to snap. Ariel Versace, Brat style. That was shade. I'm like, no, this is not, you're not doing a Brat style makeup transformation. I want to see her drag elevated. I want to see her drag that's been cultivated in the clubs, cultivated on stage, cultivated in performances, because I feel like the looks that she gives us are great for Instagram. They don't really transfer well for me on the runway. Silky looked cute. I thought this was such an adorable look, and she was having so much fun with this look. I was here for it. So Nina's team wins, shocker. Mercedes was so lucky that she was on this team, because I felt like if Mercedes wasn't on this team, she would have lost. She would have been lip syncing for her life again. Anyway, we get to Roger O'Hara's team, and can we talk about Plastique for a second? Who is just like, I just got over here to this country. I don't know anything about Beyonce or any of the pop stars. I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about that. Are you kidding me? You kidding me? You don't know anything about Beyonce? Like, that is like, come on, girl. Come on, the Tina Turner of our generation, and you don't know anything about Beyonce, girl, bye. I'm not here for runway excuses. I'm just not. Like, I don't want to hear about your leaking taint. I don't want to hear about the fact that you just got over here and you don't know anything about, you know, the huge international pop stars. Like, Beyonce is a pop star of the world. Like, she's not just a pop star in America. So to even say that you don't know Beyonce because you think that she's just an American pop star, or Mariah Carey because she's just an American pop star, are you kidding me? Mariah Carey went diamond my whole damn life, and not just from America. Come on. Michelle came for them bodysuits. I told you. So remember when I was just like, I said that they were all going to lip sync for their life, and I had no idea? Well, when Ru was just like, because this is the thing, right? She was trying to find who was the weakest link on this team. Everybody's just like, oh, we did it together. There was no leader. We all made the decision together. Nobody would throw anybody under the bus. Let me tell you something. I don't think that will ever happen again. I don't think that Ru will ever have a problem having a queen throw another queen under the bus so that they can stay, because here is why. That team did not want to single out any weak link on the team. And because of that, they all had to lip sync for their damn life. It was a mess. It was a mess. It was a cacophony. Like, you didn't know who to look at. The queens didn't have any room to really perform. But there was one person who stood out because she was performing desperate, and that is Honey Davenport. Oh my goodness. Everybody else was performing, and Honey was... and then she, like, I think she wanted to do a dip, but it just looked like she fell off the stage. And when she fell off the stage and the side eye that Ru gave her, I knew she was going home. I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. Because she just it got desperate, it got tacky, it was uncomfortable and cringy to watch. It just was no longer lip syncing for your life. It was just begging through a very lackluster performance. And it was unfortunate because she ended up going home. And it's very sad. It's very, very sad because she had one of the biggest hypes coming into this season. So for us to not even get to see what she was capable of is, I feel like we all were cheated. You know, she was cheated, we were cheated, and it's unfortunate. But I guarantee you them queens will never do that again. Because when she said, unfortunately, you were all up for elimination, everybody was shook. Did you see Scarlet Envy? Listen, mother turned 50 Shades of White. She couldn't believe it. She was like, I was like, Lord, Scarlet about to pass out. Now let's get into Untucked. Okay, let's get into Silky Nutmeg and this ridiculousness. So she was saying that she was struggling in the challenge because she didn't want to, because she's a Christian, and she felt uncomfortable in the challenge with worshiping a human being because she's not supposed to do that because God, blah, 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 blah. Sis, I'm so glad that Evie called you out because I was rolling my eyes the entire time she was giving this whole speech. And Evie was just like, girl, bye. You were pissed because we didn't do Whitney Houston. We did not do what you wanted us to do. So you sat there and pouted like a child. And she was just like, listen, I love you. I defended you last week, but what you're doing here is not right. And I love that about Evie. Evie got her together. Evie is a very fair person. And I think it turns people off because not only is she fair, she's honest, she's blunt, and she's to the point. And to be honest with you, those qualities of Evie that turns her off from some queens is the exact same qualities that turns her on. Turns people on to her. You know what I mean? Like, I like that about her. I like that she's very open and honest about a lot of things. I like that she stands up for herself and others. I didn't mind it, but it does get under other queens' skin. Let's talk about Silky doing this whole performance and ripping off her clothes and saying I was ready to lip sync and all of this. Ultimately, the queens gave Silky exactly what she wanted. Attention. Attention. She did that whole thing because she was producing her own scene and all the queens fell for it. Y'all gave her camera time. Y'all paid her dust. Y'all gave her exactly what she wanted. Because here is how I know that Silky is not really, you know, when she's being very dramatic and having these fallouts or whatever, here is how I know that she's not really serious. Because Silky always breaks. They're always, if you watch her scenes, there's always a point where she's like getting upset or she's raging or whatever. She's trying to read somebody or she's going off on another queen where she like breaks. Like her mouth starts to go up and she starts to like grin. It looks as if at any moment, if the director yells cut, she's going to fall out laughing. That's what I see in Silky. And I'm just like, don't take her seriously, guys. She is putting on the show. She came here to get her own show and she's doing just that. Miss Nina West got Vanjie all the way down because this little mimicking moment was so funny. Nina is really, really good. That's a good Vanjie. But it seemed like at some point Vanjie started to get sick of it. She was like, okay. And now we get to Honey Davenport. Honey Davenport, when she like collapsed backstage, I was like, honey, because she came into this season with so much hype. Everybody was saying that she was going to win, that she was going to kill it, and Honey just was not showing up. I think what happened is that this competition got to her. I really do. I really do think that this competition just, it was too big for what she could handle at the moment. You know what I mean? And also the pressure of coming in as a fan favorite, coming in as someone who everybody has called legendary, and then not being able to get it right away. That's what I said in my previous review. Some people can just come into a situation and grasp it very quickly. Others need time, and then when they get it, they slay. I felt like Honey Davenport probably needed a couple more episodes to like really find her groove, but that doesn't always happen. You know, you're not always safe until you can really find your footing. And I think she probably needed that because this whole competition, the pressure of it, just getting here and being excited and wanting to win, but not being able to fully produce what you wanted to do. I think it was just too much for her, and it overwhelmed her. It overwhelmed her to the point where she just didn't do what she knows she's capable of doing, and everybody else knows. You know what I mean? And I feel bad for her, because when she fell out backstage, I was just like, oh, sis, she really wanted this. You really, really wanted this. Like, she collapsed, guys. Collapsed. And then even in the workroom, she just could not get herself together to like pack or anything. Every little thing she did, she was just like looking at her outfits and crying, and just looking at the workroom and crying. And this was a hard Untucked. But I will say this about Honey Davenport. I think she's going to come back on All Stars and kill it. I think she just had to have this experience to figure out what it is. And then when she comes back, she'll be comfortable. She'll know what to expect. She'll know what to do. Sometimes you just need just a little bit of what's ahead of you, so you can prepare yourself for it fully and really take it and grasp it and kill it. And I'm hoping that's what we get from Honey Davenport on All Stars. I don't know if we're going to see her on the next season, but I think she's too much of a fan favorite, has too much of a hype and following to not get that opportunity again. Moving on, let's talk about Troye Sivan and how he got all the queens hot and bothered. Evie was so thirsty. It was actually shocking, because she's just, the weird, righteous queen. And just to see her like salivating over this little boy, it was too much for me. And also, can we talk about how Raja still has yet to admit that she got her team in the bottom? Like, if you would have just opened up your mouth and just been like, well, I was the one that made that final decision, your whole team would not have been lip syncing. But Raja was just like, I'm not missing my chances. Whoever gotta go, gotta go. Because to be quite honest with you, it should not have been Honey Davenport. That was Raja's team. That was her leadership. She got that team in the bottom, and she should have been lip syncing for her life. Her alone, and probably Mercedes, but she's lucky that she was safe. It probably would have been her and Honey Davenport. And I think if Honey Davenport maybe had more space, I don't know. I just feel like, because of all the hype, and not just like, this isn't social media hype. This is like from the drag scene. They're like, Honey Davenport is that girl. So I'm disappointed. I'm cheated, because I wanted to see what she was able to do. But I do think it would have been Honey Davenport and Raja at the end. And I think that maybe if Honey Davenport did not have all them other queens up on the stage, we probably would have been able to see something better. Anyway, that's where Untucked ends, but don't you go nowhere, because we got episode 4. Let's get into it.